Ankara is Israel's senior diplomat in Turkey, Charge d'Affaires, Mrs. Irit Lillian. And Ms. Lillian, thank you for joining us on i24 News. You are currently overseeing the transition to a new chapter in the relations between Israel and Turkey after a decade in which those relations were antagonistic. But how would you define where the relationship is going? Is Israel and Turkey, are they friends, allies, partners, neighbors? How would you define where the relationship is now?
First of all, I would like to start by saying that our relations with Turkey are historical relations that have known their ups and downs throughout the years. We have seen better times, we've seen worse times. But right now, I think we are on a path of repairing relations. And if we say that we are aiming to be good partners, good regional partners, that would be very accurate, because this is a goal that is going far beyond the nomination of ambassadors or any other symbolic, important political step. But I think that we should see things opting for the better in the larger sense.
Well, certainly this is something Israel's desired. How do you see why Turkey is making this sort of diplomatic change, especially President Erdogan? Many analysts believe he's hoping also that improving relations with Israel, for example, he'll improve relations with the United States. Some see the influence of the Abraham Accords and Israel's new ties with the Gulf as a factor here. How do you see it?
Well, for sure, each and every country has its own interests, and these interests are important political interests and geopolitical interests as well. We're living in a very unstable region, and of course, Abraham Accords have contributed a lot to improving the atmosphere in our region. But I think that right now, it is the moment for all partners or all possible partners to unite. And on this aspect, I think both the Israeli and the Turkish partners are really reading the map very correctly. That we should work together for more security and stability in the region, knowing that there are stumble blocks. But nevertheless, this joint effort is the interest of both the Turks and the Israelis.
Well, let's look at some of those stumble blocks. One of them is the open presence of Hamas, senior Hamas officials in Turkey. They maintain an office there. Many people thought that would be a precondition for Israel to restore full relations, that Turkey would perhaps close that office. Is this an issue under discussion between Jerusalem and Ankara?
I wouldn't like to go into the details, but I would say that as from the beginning of the process of repairing the ties between the two countries, we have agreed to disagree. There are issues on which we don't agree with the Turkish side. There are issues in which the Turkish side do not agree with us. The Hamas issue is a very important matter for us. Nevertheless, we don't see necessarily eye to eye regarding the presence of the Hamas office in Istanbul. Of course, this is part of the dialogue. We are trying to convince the Turkish side that it is essential for increasing security in our region, for combating terrorism. But as I said, I would not go into details. But indeed, this is an issue.
Now, of course, Turkey also has expectations. We should note that Turkey and Israel did maintain very healthy economic relations even during the diplomatic freeze. But Turkey would like to extend that further into the area of the development of East Mediterranean gas, which could be complicated for Israel due to its current partnership with Cyprus and Greece. Is there a path forward for Israel and Turkey in terms of the East Mediterranean gas issue?
Israel have never stepped back from its commitment to the East Mediterranean gas pipeline project. And we have emphasized, as from the beginning, that our bilateral relations with each and every one of the partners you mentioned is not going to be on the account of the others. We believe that having good ties with both Greece, Cyprus, and Turkey is the interest of course, of the state of Israel. And we're not giving up of all we have achieved with Greece and Cyprus. Nevertheless, we believe that having better relations with Turkey will just enhance all the good fruits of what we have achieved so far in each and every possible field.
Right. Now, the pandemic is over. Tourism is back. Israelis are again flocking to Turkey, one of its favorite tourism destinations. But we did recently see a real security scare, concern over Israeli citizens in Turkey being the target, in that case, of Iranian agents. Talk a little about the issue of security for Israelis in Turkey in light of what happened recently.
Well, I should start by saying that there is still a very strong travel advice for Israelis to go to Turkey. Many of them decided that Turkey is a wonderful tourism destination. I cannot agree less with them, but I would have asked all my compatriots to be vigilant and to treat seriously travel advice when it is existing. But right now, we are not under the threat that we faced a few weeks ago or almost 2 months ago, and during which the cooperation between Israel and Turkey was exceptional. And these immediate threats were taking off our table, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm very thankful for the services from both sides who have worked so hard together for the sake of our citizens. And I believe that this cooperation would enable Israeli tourists to come here safely, especially when the Israeli flights are going to come back to Turkey very soon, hopefully.
Right. Now, you are the chargé d'affaires. You're currently the top diplomat, Israeli diplomat in Turkey. Part of this renewal of ties is expected to be the exchange of full ambassadors. Could you give us a sense of when we might actually see that finishing step on this resumption of ties?
It will take some time because, as you know, we are under an interim government with all the restrictions that an interim government impose on us diplomats and on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in appointing new ambassadors. I believe that the Turkish side is going to be a bit quicker because they don't have elections just in front of them. It's much later this year. But I hope that within the coming weeks, we will know who is going to be the envoy for Turkey. And if it doesn't take weeks, but it will take just a few months, then we just understand that this is a technical issue and has nothing to do with the goodwill that exists in both countries to nominate ambassadors as soon as possible.
Well, in the meantime, holding down the fort in Ankara, Chargé d'Affaires Irit Lillian, thank you for joining us on i24 News.
Thank you for hosting me.